Hi, everybody. This is Ross from Church Windows. Looks like it's just after 1 o'clock here. So let's get started. So today's webinar is going to be mainly about the browse attendance screen and kind of changing and editing how it looks to better customize it to display what information you want it to show. And then if we have time, we'll also look at the attendance worksheet report at the end of the webinar. It is just me today. I don't have anybody answering questions. You can put in your questions throughout the webinar, and then at the end I will circle back and answer those, and then answer any other ones that pop in at the end. Today's webinar is mainly what I'm going to be going through. It can be found in the Membership 202 workbook, so you can get that on our website if you're interested after this. Okay, so let's get started. So browse attendance is within the membership module, so I'm opening that, clicking on attendance, and then browse attendance. And then with browse attendance open, the default layout for browse attendance is it sorts it by attendee, and it shows you, gives you kind of a base line of showing you everything that they have attended or they were marked excused for in the current year. It's similar to the browse donation screen or the browse transaction screen in accounting, if you guys are familiar with that. And each individual person's attendances are kind of grouped onto one line until you click the plus sign here to the left of their name. And if you click that, it then shows you everything that person attended this year or was marked excused for. If there was attendance entered on a particular date and you didn't do any sort of marking on that person at all, they won't show up it won't show up as attendance for them on this screen. And like I said, the default layout is grouping and sorting by attendee, alphabetically in from A to Z. You can change that a couple of different ways. Let me erase that. So the quickest way to change how things are sorted is to click on where it says attendee here, and then you can just drag it to the row below. And what that does is that gets rid of all the grouping. So each individual person now shows up. Each individual attendance now shows up. So it makes it a lot longer, the whole grid. Now, if you want to group by event or group instead of attendee, you can then click and hold on events, groups, classes, and then drag that up to this kind of blank gray row. When you let go, you can now see it says events, groups, classes right here instead of attendee. And then you can see the grid below is now grouped by event instead of person. So it's showing you each different event that we have attendance marked for. If you click the plus sign on that, it now shows you all the different people that attended and on the dates that they attended here. And you can go you can go even further if you don't like the way that this is grouped within that particular event, like you still want it sorted by date or by person to make it cleaner, um, on this screen, you can then click on date or attendee or any of the other ones, and then drag it up, and you can see the little up and down arrows to the left. That's just telling you that it is going to be put in that location and is going to be grouping by date. So I let go, and now we can see I have the first and second grade Sunday school expanded out, and now we have the 4 different dates grouped together. And then if I click the plus sign here, you can then see the different people that attended that particular date. And we can expand out those others. And don't worry, like if you're messing with this and it's somehow, things get in a different order than how you want, and you just want to get set back to the default setting and just basically start from scratch and have it just sort by attendee. Down here in the bottom left is the Restore Default Layout button. If you click that, what it does is puts everything back to sorting and grouping by attendee, so you don't have to worry about messing up. You can play with this screen as much as you want, and you can always get it back to its default setting. The other way to change how things appear on this screen is to click the Change Dates, Filter, and Sort button, or Change Dates, Columns, and Sort button up here in the top left. So you click that, and it brings up a new window, and this is, you can adjust the dates and what information shows on reports and everything, but I want to focus on the Group and Sort tab here. And so by default, the system sorts by attendee, then events and groups, and then date. If you want it to sort by anything else, you can click on the drop down here and select different options. So say instead of sorting by attendee, I want to sort by date, and then I don't care about the other different sorts. I can just click the X on the second line here, and all it's going to do is sort by date. So any events that happen on the same day are going to be grouped under the same line, and it's going to show who attended those particular events. So I click OK, and you can now see that date is up here in the top left, showing that it's sorting and grouping by date. If I click the plus sign, you will then see all the different people that attended on that day. And after you adjust, you can continue to refine and edit what is being grouped and sorted just by moving things around. So I moved events, groups, classes, and if I click the plus sign on a particular date again, instead of showing everybody, it then shows the event that people attended that day. And if I click the plus sign on that one, it then shows all the people that attended that particular event for that day. Let me expand this back out. Say you don't need a particular column to appear on this grid. Say you don't really keep track of excuse, so you can get rid of that. you can click on the excused column header up here at the top, and then just kind of click, hold, and drag it up. You want to drag it past the gray bar above, and just kind of put it elsewhere off that area until you should see a black X on the button. So if you see that there, if I let go, it removes the excused column from the grid. So it won't show up on this grid or if you print from this screen. You can also do that by clicking the Change Dates, Columns, and Sort button up here in the top left. And going to the Columns tab up here in the top left. And so everything on the right here is what's going to show up on the grid or on the report. You can double click on it to remove it, or you can click on the arrow button to the left that's pointing to the left to remove it, and then click OK, and then it's no longer there. Another good way to filter out on this screen is to, let me just restore the default layout there, we go, is you can use this screen to look up just attendance for one particular class or one particular person, or even a particular month. You can do all that at the top of the screen. So at the top where it says person, if you do a search for one particular person, only their attendance is going to show in the grid. So if I do a search for person, Nina, and then it shows you all of their attendance that they've had entered to them this year, not showing anybody else's. You can then click the arrow or the arrow buttons to cycle alphabetically through the list to see other people's attendance. If you want to go back to looking at everybody's attendance, you can click the clear button, and that's going to just go back to showing you everybody. And you can also use this screen to add attendance to a particular person. So I'm going to add attendance for Nina. You can click the Add Attendance button to the right. So it says Add Attendance for Nina. I can then select the group I want to add her to. Let me just select it from the drop down. And then you select the date and anything else about that particular day. And then when you click a date farther out in the future. When you click save, that adds the attendance to that person. So if I click the plus sign, and then look, you can see the class I added is now there. Let me clear the person. You can also take a look at the attendance for a particular group or event by clicking on this drop down and selecting it from the list or typing it in. I'm going to select the just our Sunday AM worship event. And as you can see, people's attendance changed. If I click the plus sign to Nina, the attendance I added for the one group and then everything else is now no longer there. Showing you only the Sunday AM worship attendance. From this screen, you can also print. So in the top right corner is the print icon. You click that and it's going to basically bring up a print preview of the screen here. And then what it does is it will, you can see it's sorted, it's grouped by person. So Nina is listed and it only lists her name once, and then it kind of groups by date and then event below, and little check marks for each thing that they've been marked present for. And how you have the grid appear affects how the print preview appears. So if I close back out of this and say I don't group by attendee, so each individual person, say I want to group it by, or sort it by date. So I'm not grouping by anything, so everything has its own individual line. If I then click print, you can see it appears very differently. It shows each individual person on their own line for each individual time that they donate, and it's sorting by date. And again, say I'm done with printing a particular port in that layout. I want to go back to the default. Just click Restore Default Layout in the bottom left. And that is all I have really on the browse attendance screen. The other section of attendance I'm going to show you today is the attendance worksheet. So let me close out of this, go to reports, attendance worksheet. So this screen is used essentially to record attendance for for any groups or events that you run. Let me just show you a quick default layout before we do anything else. So you can run it, you can tell the system how many dates you want to record attendance for, and it's going to make little, squares for each date that you can mark attendance for. You can mark how often that it meets and for what date range and everything. So I just selected the first and second grade Sunday school. And then if I click print, and I zoom in, there we go. You can see it shows you each individual person who is enrolled into that particular Sunday school, along with different contact information and everything else. And then to the right, you see each individual date that you can mark attendance for. And we can adjust what information appears and the width of all these to fit more onto one page, or either horizontally or vertically. So if I close out of this, and up here in the top left is where you'll be doing most of your editing in terms of the dates and everything. So say instead of meeting weekly, this particular thing only meets monthly. You can select that, and then you tell it when it repeats, so that way it can put the correct dates on the actual report. So every second Monday, let's say. And then if I click print, you'll see it has adjusted the dates on the actual report itself for every second Monday of the month. And then let's go to the fields column is where you can adjust the information that appears below each person's name. So the default is, as you can see on the right, name, address block, home phone, birth date, and the role of that particular group and class. You can remove things and add things depending on what you want to see. Like before, if you double click address block and home phone, it will remove it to the left. Do the same with birthday, leaving just the name and groups, classes, role. So then if I click print, here's all drawings, you can see it saves a lot more space under each name, allowing you to fit more people vertically. So it just has the name and then the role of each individual person. And if someone doesn't have a role, it won't display that. Let's go to the row height and columns width. Say you want to get a little bit more room with each date or with each particular column. You can adjust these. The default is 25 and 3, but you can make these wider or narrower depending on your needs. Let me just go really big just so you can see how it affects it. So I changed the date column width from 3 to 10 and the personal column width to 40. So if I click print, you'll see how differently that makes it. Some places put in little notes when they mark attendance and things like that. That'd be good. This kind of thing would be good for that, where you can make it a little bit wider to give you more space for marking other notes. And if it can't fit all the dates, so like you can see, it can only fit the 3 days instead of all 12. It just takes it to the next page. So you'll have to adjust margins and things like that, or use landscape mode in order to get things to fit better, or use a smaller date range. Let me close back out of that. And then there's the sort tab that allows you to sort. Allows you to sort and group people based by last name only, or you can try and keep families together, even if they don't have the same last name. It will group people together based off of that. So if you run a report, attendance worksheet for like an event where everybody can attend, you can group families together. So if I do family name, last name, first name, say, people, a person gets remarried, but their kids have a different last name from the new husband or what have you. Those kids will still show up next to the parents. So it makes it easier to mark attendance. Let's go to the options tab and show you a bigger list of people. If I click print, and so you can see everybody's sorted alphabetically, and I don't know if there's anybody in this data that doesn't have that has family with a different last name. Oh, here we go. So you can see here that Joan Perez is in a family with either with Wendy McIntyre or the McLeans. That's why she is sorting within the M's instead of in the P's like she should, because she's part of that particular family. So that's why that's how it will work if you sort by family last name. So let me close out of this. And then, alrighty, and that is, you also have a couple options down here in the bottom left. The most useful one, I think, is the blank lines at the end. So if you have a group that people who aren't enrolled in can come in and maybe join later. This blank lines at the end allows you to have blank lines after the last people. So instead of just stopping here, it will then allow you space to put in other people who aren't enrolled. You can put in their information and mark their attendance so it can get recorded or they can get enrolled in the class. I find that particular one pretty useful. And let's see, that is all I have today on browse attendance and the attendance worksheet. Looks like I went a little over today. Sorry about that. It was supposed to be only about 20 minutes. Looks like I went about 25. This has been recorded, and this will be put up online by the end of the week. And if you guys have any questions, you can review that, or if you came in late, you can watch it then. You can watch it once it gets uploaded, or you can call us at support at church, or email us at support@churchwindows.com, or call us at 1-800-533-5227. All right. Other than that, you guys have a good day and a good rest of your week. Thanks. Bye.